Well, tree down. Chose not to videotape the tree going down because if something went horribly wrong, I didn't want it on video. But this is an invasive tree, and it's called a honey locust. There's two identifying traits of a honey locust. Number one is their seed pods. They look like big old butter beans. Yeah. And number two, and the main reason why I'm getting rid of this thing, which my daddy told me to do this several years ago. Now, I know of two types of locust trees, a honey locust and a black locust. A black locust produces a lot of good nectar for honey. But it's funny, the honey locust doesn't. What the honey locust produces is what can only be described, if you want to come a little bit closer, hon, as a shrub tree that grows on the outskirts of hail, because the trunk is covered with these things. And folks, let me tell you, they're hypodermic needle sharp. They will stick in you like a broadhead arrow. And from about, I don't know, what is this, 15 foot down, the trunk is just covered with these things. Now this is a fairly new one. It's still kind of got a color to it. These are all old, but still just as sharp. See these right here? See the difference in the color? But they are just as sharp as a blessed needle. I think the ancient Indians used them for tattoo needles. I'm not sure. But now, it's a pretty hardy tree. If you look over here towards the stump, you can tell where I've tried to make it die naturally on the stump. I cut holes into it. Didn't bother it a bit. The only thing I found that did kind of affect it was drilling a hole in it and pouring Roundup in it. That got it. So this other snag over here, you look up at the top, there's very few seed pods. So those are the two that I put the Roundup into, and that had a detrimental effect to the well-being of the tree. Now, I did read on the internet that back in the old days, these trees were used for fences, a natural fence. They would plant them, and this thing would grow up, and as soon as they get a little bit of age on them, they start developing these thorns, and that was used as a fence back in the olden days. Now, if you see me swatting, I have stirred up a load of gnats out here. But this is going to be, this has been our garden spot before, but me and my buddy Don are going to get up here and try to have us some tomatoes and green beans. Don is a very resourceful man. He knows how to can and make jellies and stuff like that. So when I mentioned to him if he'd be interested in having like a joint garden next year, he was all over that. He doesn't have quite enough room at his place for a garden. We're gonna have green beans and tomatoes and so forth. So I'm up here trying to cut some stuff, get a little bit of sunlight in. But yeah, my daddy told me years ago, cut that thing down. I didn't. And it's hardwood too. Of course, my saw blade's a little dull, or saw chain, but it's hardwood. It kind of don't like being cut. And the funny thing is, I don't know where they came from. Nowhere else around here have I seen these things except on my property. Now, they were on the back side over there, but when we got the goats over there, the goats made short work of them. They loved the little old leaves, and of course the small tender stems. I mean, they had no chance to get goats. So if you do have honey locusts on your property, the goats will take care of any offspring. So now what I've got to do is get it cut up, moved over to the burn pile, and burn it. this over here, I'm gonna have to use my boom pole on my tractor and winch that stuff up and take it over there. I'm not gonna try to manhandle that stuff because, like I said, those things will go in you just like a bullet, and it's not very pleasant when it happens. But anyway, so yeah, that's why y'all weren't here during the cutting down of the tree, because, like I said, I'm not the world's best lumberjack, and if something went horribly wrong, I didn't want to have video proof of it. Could have been used against my wife if there was an insurance claim. Just kidding. So there you have it. Just out here trying to cut a tree down. But see, now on up here, that trunk don't have a thorn on it nowhere. But then on up here though, some of the limbs, I thought I saw on some of the limbs some of those thorns. And see, I really didn't want to cut this thing down, and that's why I haven't cut it down yet, because I knew I'd have to cut it down here, and those thorns, those things would go through a tractor tire. But now that I'm seeing it, there's not too many thorns up here in the top. Most of the thorns down there on the base. So, yeah. So anyhow, time, you got to cut down a tree, folks. So there you have it, just doing a little bit of prep work today. Weather's nice. Not cold, it's about 29 degrees when we got up, but it's nice now. Got my tractor out. As you can see, I have my charger on it. I just, with the clutch issues and then my gas tank issues, I didn't run it that much this past summer. And my battery's gotten pretty low on me. So I have to use my jump box every time I crank it. So I thought, well, heck, I'll just charge it while I'm sawing. See what happens. So there you have it, folks. We're going to have, of course, we got some blueberry bushes down here. If you've ever had blueberry bushes, you come see the beautiful fall colors they make. I don't even know if my wife knows this. Have you noticed the colors, honey? Okay. If you're looking for a pretty ornamental bush for your yard, look at the colors on that blueberry bush. I mean, people will drive all over North Georgia to see a leaf that color. And they make blueberries. Of course, we've never got any blueberries off ours because we have deer. And over here are my elderberry bushes, which, as you can see, Bambi has been trimming on them as well. But I had to put this chicken wire around them to keep the rabbits from eating them when I first put them out. So, but yeah, here's my elderberry bushes, and we're going to be trying to propagate some elderberry plants. Need to happen pretty quick. Cut these stems, and you have to sprout them in water, I believe. I haven't looked up on all that, but elderberries are super good for your immune system, the antioxidants. So there you have it. Just a little tree cutting activity. Like, subscribe, share. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You Banks Family Homestead.